we've been covering here on That Park Place very closely the attendance for Walt Disney World.
Lack
and honestly,
thereof.
it just hasn't looked good. It's actually looked very, very bad. And we now have more mainstream media coming out and actually jumping on this, something that we've been covering here for a long time. This by Fox News. Disney attendance plunges to all-time low for 2025 as visitors report ghost towns at the parks. This by Deirdre Bardolph, I do believe. Sorry, I very much apologize. Walt Disney World logged its slowest 3-week stretch of the year in September, putting it on track to be the quietest month since 2021. Crowd tracker data for mid-August through mid-September shows average waits dropped to almost 24 minutes per ride, even shorter than during the July 4th holiday, according to the posted wait times from Disney's My Disney Experience app, aggregated by third-party trackers through data and analyzed by Disney Tourist Blog. On TikTok, some visitors describe the parks as, quote, ghost towns. Quote, I'm at Magic Kingdom right now, and this place is a tomb, one user said. There is literally nobody here. There is no wait time for anything. Space Mountain walk-on, Haunted Mansion walk-on, Pirates of the Caribbean walk-on. The longest I have seen for wait time is 30 minutes. I believe that was maybe the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Okay, so we've been tracking this. We've been covering this. Now you have mainstream media jumping on this as well. But we have still been criticized saying, hey, the parks are still busy. They're still,
You're lying. You're lying.
You're
with
lying.
your video footage and your photos and your proof, and now everybody jumping on board with this. We have been saying it for months. I was there on the ground on July 4th when there was nobody there in the park and people called us liars. I was there on Labor Day when there was nobody in the park and we verified it and people called us liars. We point out the wait times. We show you the footage. We show you the pictures. We're not lying. I'm sorry it's inconvenient but to your narrative, but there's nobody there.
Here's my guess. The people that say that we're lying, I feel like it's coming from the travel agents, travel assistants, whatever they're calling, travel concierges, whatever they're calling themselves nowadays, because they want to sell lightning lanes. Like they are really, really incentivized because they make no money outside of they do their services for free, but they get commission from Disney, and they get commission for selling lightning lanes above anything else. I have trained for that position and like when I did the training and I saw what they wanted me to sell, I'm like, no, I can't do that. I would feel dishonest. So my issue is that like the crowd level being low could technically be a good thing because, hey, what a great time to go. It's a bad thing if you're selling lightning lanes and you're telling people, you got to buy these lightning lanes. If you don't buy these lightning lanes, it's going to ruin your trip. You're not going to be able to get on these rides. And yet people go there and they purchase a lightning lane. And I'm not even kidding you. The last time that I was with somebody at Disney World, at Epcot, had a lightning lane, said, hey, come with me. Let's get over this. I've got a lightning lane for Soarin' right now. And I would go over to Soarin' and it's a posted 15-minute wait time. He goes in the lightning lane. We're going to do this experiment. He goes in the lightning lane. I literally go in the regular wait at the same time, and we met up exactly at the same place with no wait whatsoever. So that is the issue. The biggest issue with this crowds right now is that Disney is overselling these lightning lanes and making millions of dollars on something that guests don't need.
Right. And the reason I bring all this up, folks, the reason why I'm bringing this up today and doing a video for you is because this trend is continuing. We have data to back this up. I know a lot of our critics, they like to say that we're wrong, but they don't actually provide data to back up their claims. Again, there will be high points, there will be low points for any single day at Walt Disney World. Unfortunately, it's just when you look at the averages and the trend lines connected to those averages, it's just not what we're seeing. Here you go from Thrill Data. This is today right here, and you can see Walt Disney World has a wait factor of 0. This is October, by the way. This is now, we're out of September right here. We should be ramping up, especially for the fall and holiday seasons. And yet we have a wait factor of 0. You can see right here, the broken down by park, minus 5% from last month, minus 32% from last month, minus 24% from last month. And for Animal Kingdom, minus 45% from last month. Again, we have no rides. these parks. I mean, Animal Kingdom, what? We have 6 attractions. Hopefully that Zootopia attraction looks like it's going to be opening up pretty soon here, and maybe that offers more to do. But still, though, even with the lack of attractions that this park actually has, we see nothing. And one more thing, Marvin, before I go ahead and throw it over to you, let's go ahead and scroll down here, and we can see that bit of green right at the very edge right there? That's October. And it is the lowest that we've seen it since maybe the pandemic era. This is extremely concerning because now we're going into the fall season. Now we're going into, what should be high times here. We should really be ramping up for holiday facilities and the holiday season and so forth. People want to go out and see the decorations, even if they are Halloween. Marvin, what exactly are we seeing? I know you were in the parks for Labor Day and for the major holidays, and in your experience, you've seen it empty. What's going on now?
We're seeing a lot of locals, and I think that local traffic will even dry up the second Universal makes Epic Universe annual passes available. But so, people like to point to things like they'll take video footage at the end of a parade or something like that and be like, look, there's people, when it's like people are being bottlenecked. Right. That's why there's people there. Like, look at this right here. I believe this was the 4th of July. There's a castle stage show going on in that last clip, Vash, and it was still that empty. This is Labor Day. I took this right from the porch over by the Town Square Theater, and there was just nobody there. Look at all that open space. You could swing your arms around and not hit anybody. I don't recommend it, but because you never know. This was 4th of July in Liberty Square, the place where you'd think that people would go on the 4th of July. You see the bunting there on the Hall of Presidents. So, Memorial Day weekend was the same thing. People just aren't going anymore. They're not, and it's, a lot of locals are going, but a lot of people are not taking vacations there. They're not staying. I had a friend who was there over the summer, and his flight got canceled. And so he had to stay an extra day, and he ended up getting a room at All-Star Movies for the night. And I said, well, I mean, what were your options? You picked All-Star Movies. And he goes, everywhere. There were rooms everywhere. Every single resort we were able to get. So, yeah. And, people will also point to like, well, the Halloween party sold out for every single event. I'm like, yeah, because it's locals. Locals go to that.
Yeah. Man,
it's a holiday event. It's a hard ticket event. You can't well, I mean, this is the first year that my wife and I are not going to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. It was a Christmas tradition for us for years. We're not going because the two of us together would be, with taxes and fees, would be almost $400 on the cheapest day of the year.
Yeah.
Look at walk-up opportunities available for Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. There used to be entire blogs written about how to get reservations for the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique because it was so hard to get.
Right, and we're now seeing huge, incredible discounts for resorts starting in 2026. So that, again, that kind of guidance, I believe the CFO of the Walt Disney Company, Hugh Johnston, actually, when he's talking about how, hey, look, the next couple of quarters are going to be a little soft, I think that's very much true. Now, that was a few quarters ago, but I think these trends are still continuing. Now, the media and everybody else will say, including our critics, will say, well, the Walt Disney Company's making buku, dollars, and the experiences division, it's making so much more money than it has been before. But again, when you look at that that quarter to quarter tracking right there, domestic parks aren't doing that well. In fact, from the last quarter to the most recent quarter, they were actually down by about 2% in the experiences division. Additionally, yes, they are making more money, but a lot of that is inflationary, and a lot of that is just we're increasing prices across the board, whether it be for tiered ticketed days, whether it be for tickets themselves, food, or merchandise. We've tracked over thousands of items that have gone up in incremental values, which creates that kind of revenue increase. Ron, is there anything off in my analysis, and what has been your experience?
No, nothing's off. And I think it's going to get far worse for the Walt Disney Company as people catch on to the fact that, especially with finally Fox News chiming in on how the lack of busyness, if people who are maybe coming to Walt Disney World, maybe they go, okay, well, maybe now is the time to come because it's not busy, but they're not going to be buying lightning lanes. People are going to catch on to the fact that they don't need to buy lightning lanes. And,
good point.
But also I think a lot more people are going to look at these parks and go, wait a second, if they really research coming right now, they're going to see how much is under construction. There are walls. Yeah. I don't know. I've never seen the thousands and thousands and thousands of feet of walls yesterday when I went to the Magic Kingdom, and all of what used to be Rivers of America is surrounded by a construction wall or barrier from the Haunted Mansion all the way around through Liberty Square, through Frontierland, all the way over to Big Thunder. And it is just all like, you can't see this anymore. This is all blocked off. It looks gross when it's there. But it's I would say it's 3 to 4 football fields worth of length that people are walking past, just nothing but construction walls. It's worse than Walcott ever was. And Walcott was annoying as heck because it was the center of the park. But this is just it's not, and it's not just here. The thing is, that was one park when it was Walcott. This is Walt Disney World. This is Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios. I have never seen this many construction walls. And by the way, not even just the parks. It's also the resorts. Grand Floridian is walled off. There's construction walls behind the Hoop to Do Review in Fort Wilderness, where they're building that giant monstrosity of a resort in a place that's supposed to be all about nature. It's all of these decisions, by the way, I don't think they're leading us to anything better than what we've had in the past. And that is going to be a huge problem going forward. When all these walls come up and more than 50%, maybe 70, 80, 90% of this stuff is a letdown from what it was supposed to be. While at the same time, Universal is adding really, really amazing things to their parks and a brand new park and everything else. I just think a lot of people are going to continue to feel let down by the Walt Disney Company, because it set a precedent, and now it's gone away from that precedent, and Universal seems to have picked up that slack.
I think you're right. And people are figuring it out. And I think the Walt Disney Company is facing tremendous hurdles when it comes to getting people in because of these walls. I think these walls have gone viral to some degree, and maybe that's why they're so aggressively discounting for resort stays, get you to come in. But again, they're charging more once you get there. That's the Mickey Mouse trap, one would say. Now, look, choose your visits obviously wisely. It's a great time to go if you're looking for lower crowds, but just understand, this isn't the Walt Disney World Resort at its finest. This is, lots of walls, lots of construction, lots of attractions down, and it should be impossible for wait times to be this low, given all of those factors. The fact that they are, and at their lowest levels that we have seen maybe since the pandemic, is truly saying something.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.